Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today I thought we would have a look at this. Now this is something I've just dug out of long-term storage, and it's not quite what it appears to be. Yes, it's a radio. I've owned this for a long time. I bought this back when I was at university, so that's going back quite a few years now. And it's something I picked up literally just as I was walking around a car boot sale in Swansea, where I went to university. And what it is, it's probably 1950s vintage, and it's a kit radio. Back then, obviously, radios were still quite expensive, and you could, in some of the electronics magazines, buy basically a kit of parts and build quite a basic, would have been TRF, which is tuned radio frequency, a basic AM long wave and medium wave radio for just a few pounds really. And they've made, you could either build your own case, which I'm guessing this has probably been a homemade one, judging by the construction on it, or they even you could buy cases to house these radios that you build. And I bought this, and I don't think I paid very, I can't remember what I paid for it, but it wouldn't have been very much. It wouldn't have been probably more than £5. And unfortunately, when I got it home and I had a proper look at it, well, back to my halls of residence, I discovered it wasn't complete. Someone had obviously started building it and then given up. It only had, I think it might have had like one RF valve in it, and that was about it. And part of the circuit built. So I built my own receiver into it, and it's a hybrid. It's part IC and part valve. That's what I thought. I never actually really finished it though. That was it. I got it basically be able to receive AM transmissions on medium wave, and that's all I ever did with it. I used it for a little bit until I got another radio which I restored and used that, and this ended up just stuck in storage because it's been in storage for years. And I thought we might go through it and see if we can get it to play, and then I might look at doing what I was originally planning to do with it and actually getting it so it works on long wave and medium wave, and put a second stage in it, because at the moment it's literally just got the IC driving the output valve, and there's not enough gain there, so it doesn't go very loud. It should be able to go a little bit louder than it does at the moment. And my intention was just to use a single transistor like pre-amplification stage in it, but I never got around to it. So anyway, I thought we'd have a look in the back. There's no back on it, so it's nice and easy. And basically that's what we've got. We've got a unfortunately the wire's been cut off it. I must have needed a wire for something at some point, and I have chopped the mains wire off it. But I've got I found before while I was rummaging about a piece of mains flex with a plug on it, so we'll stick that on it and we'll see if we can get it to power up. But basically we've got a mains transformer there, and I think I pinched that out of an old tape recorder or something. It was what I had that was suitable, or whatever I could get hold of that was suitable. The valve in it is an ECL80, which isn't really an audio valve. It's a television, I think it's the horizontal deflection valve in a TV, but they were occasionally used in television sets in the audio section as an output valve, even though that was never really their initial intention. So that's what I use. It gives about just under a watt, I think, of power, which, to be honest, for a little table radio like this is absolutely fine. We've got the ferret rod aerial here, which is original to the... Is it original to this set, actually, or did I fit that? I can't remember, actually. I might have salvaged that out of something else. It does look a little bit modern for this actual chassis. Yeah, I might have been... like I say, it is a very long time ago. I might have found that out of something else. It does kind of look 1970s-y radiogram type thing, so I probably found that in something else, but it is just a straight medium wave and long wave aerial coil, ferret car. And then in the far corner here we've got a little circuit with a it's an MK484 I think radio IC, which is basically most of an AM radio just on one single little IC. So what we'll do anyway, we'll get it out of the case, and if we can, and we'll connect a new mains lead up onto it. I'll show you some of the shortcomings we've got with it at the moment, and like I said, we'll see if at least we could perhaps get it to play. I'll need a screwdriver I think to, yeah, it's just, I think the chassis is literally just screwed down with a couple of screws. I'll probably have to take the knobs off the front as well. Let's get these screws out and we can have a look. I don't even know how good that valve is, because I know when I built this I didn't have a valve tester, so it'd just be a valve that I'd got out of a box of valves somewhere. Obviously it must work, but it's, yeah, I think I'll have to take the control knobs off to go any further. Yeah, they've just got a grub screw on them, so we should get them off easy enough. Hopefully they've not rusted on over the year. They shouldn't be, because it's been stored in a dry place. It's just got very, very dusty, and unfortunately the pointer's fallen off. I'll have to take that off as well, I think. We can fix that pointer anyway. It's not very accurate, and it's literally just glued onto the back of this knob. If I remember correctly, yeah, it's the glue's just gone off there. We'll take that off. I'll take the knobs off. You know what I was saying about the knobs not having seized on? I might have been wrong. Let's see if we can get this one off. Well, that one seems to have turned. Yeah, that one's off okay. They are a nice one here with a proper brass set in them though, so we should be okay getting them off. It's just they're going to fight us a bit, I think. Yeah, that one's definitely going to fight us. I think I've just twisted my screwdriver trying to get that out. Let's see if I've got a slightly bigger screwdriver bit to have a go at that with. Can't be too big, or else it won't fit in the gap. Let's look at that one. That might do it. Nope. One thing you can do occasionally, if you take your soldering iron, don't do this if it's a plastic knob, only do this if it's a Bakelite knob. And just put your soldering iron on. I've got that set to 400 degrees. Just put your soldering iron on the end of the screw and just let the heat just penetrate down. It can sometimes just help free one of these little screws off that's causing issues like this. I'll give that a try. In this case, no. Try going the other way and then back. Now the head's starting to strip on that, unfortunately. I wonder if we've got a different screwdriver we can go in with. That's going to be a pain. Let's try. See if we can get it to free off. Well, this is going to be a problem. We're definitely having an issue with getting this screw out. Actually, it hasn't been stored anywhere damp, this either, and they definitely must have. Let's try tipping it on its back like that. See if we can get a bit more purchase on the screw. No, the head on that screw is completely gone, unfortunately. It's not going to come out. But what we'll have to do is drill it out, and then we can get the rest of the screw out after that. Now let's see if we've got a suitable drill bit to drill that out. Yeah, that'll do it. Where's my PCB drill gone? So we don't need anything too fierce to drill that out. But we do need my my PCB drill. Ah, there it is. That should be adequate for drilling through that little screw. It is only brass after all. Right. Switch the bench power supply on. Just connect up the drill. Crank up the volts a little bit. We'll see if we can drill it out with this. Right. This might take a little bit of time, so I'm just going to pause the video and we're back as soon as I've drilled this nut out. Okay, we're back, and I managed to drill it out. That was a bit of a bugger actually, because what I thought was a brass set screw wasn't, it was a steel one. So it took a little bit longer to drill out than I thought, but I've managed to drill through the, I've drilled basically straight through the grub screw there, which just give it enough freedom to release the knob. And I'll deal with that later. I'll drill the rest of that out and I'll re-tap it and put a new grub screw in that so we can reuse it. But at least we can get inside the radio now, we can get it out and have a look. Okay, there we go. Out we come. Out you come. There we are. Let's get the case out of the way for now. And this is basically what we've got. Now, yeah, that's basically there is a I think I remember at one point I used this with my computer. This is when I was at university as a speaker to play out with my computer, because I don't think I had any PC speakers that were working at the time. So basically at the moment the audio comes out there. I think it is actually completely disconnected from the radio section. So we'll see anyway. What we'll do is we'll put a new mains cable on it. I'll turn it the other way. Hang on. Let's turn it. That's better. That's better. Right, can you see down there now? Because I'm pretty sure that's come loose as well. I can tighten that up. I think I worked that loose just then when I was messing about. trying to get that knob off, so we'll just tighten that up so that doesn't keep moving around. There we go, that's better. You know, I can't remember how I've got, it's rather lethal, that wire there could easily short against the live there. But I'm pretty sure, if I'm correct, that basically this gives a line output. It's run through a capacitor as well, there. So it's a long time since I actually built this thing or even worked on it, so I'm having to do a bit of relearning myself. So I've used a reused valve holder there as well. Most of these capacitors look fairly new. What have we got? I think they're 33 UF at 350 volts. It's half wave rectified. Oh, that's weird. I've got a selenium rectifier here wired in, and I don't know whether it's not been working properly or something, but I seem to have linked in series with it by the look of it, a diode rectifier, so we'll have to have a look at that. Let's get this mains cable changed anyway, and then at least we can fire it up and see what it does. We'll release this P-clip. That's tight. Right, so at least we can date the speaker. We've actually got a date code on the speaker, 25th of November 1946. Now that not necessarily means that that's when this kit came from. Many of the kits back then would have used either army surplus parts or whatever was really available. So if someone had a load of speakers that have been in a warehouse for a few years, they could very well end up in a kit radio like this, or it could just be a speaker that someone happened to have that fit. I think it's the speaker that came in the actual radio when I got it, though. I don't think I put that in there. Right, let's see if this cable's going to reach. I'll have to strip back a little bit more insulation on it, I think, for the live to reach over to where it needs to go. There we go, that should be enough. And we'll feed that in through the rubber grommet. So I did do quite a decent job anyway. I have used some strain relief and what have you. So we'll put that cable there and we'll put the clip back on it to hold it in position. Like that. At least that cable's not going to move anywhere. Right, there we go. So we've got a new mains cable. It's a little bit thick. I think it's a little bit thicker than what was on there, but it shouldn't matter that. It's you can't really go much thinner than what was originally on an appliance, but there's nothing, providing it'll physically fit, there's nothing to really stop you going any thicker. Get this old wire off. This is a good test for this iron as well, see how well it copes with slightly bigger terminals. Well, that'll come off okay. So we can get it off that earth connection there as well. Come on, off you come. I'm struggling a little bit with that one. Oh no, it's done it. And then we need to remove this neutral from down here off the transformer. There we go, that's that disconnected, so we can pull that old wire out of the way. Let's tin up that new live. There we go. We'll solder that in position. Move some of my crud out of the way so wire's not getting tangled. Oops. I'll solder that back. We'll probably redo these at some point when we revisit this radio and put some heat shrink on. Obviously we're going to do a lot more work on this if I decide I am actually going to spend some time on it. Which, yeah, I mean, it would be nice to go actually finish the project off properly. It's going to be, what, about 15 years from since I actually started it, so there we go. Turn that up. I'm sure there's plenty of improvements we can make to this set as well. Okay, yep, that's well connected. We'll fold that in. We'll take the neutral down there. Like that. Oops. Yeah, that cable's going to be alright. We just need to bring that up to there to provide the neutral to the transformer. I'm not sure what that wire is for. I'll leave that be for now. You do forget a lot of, especially when you work on loads of projects, you get distracted with another project, and when you come back to the first one you can never quite remember exactly where you was at it, and it can take a while to try and remember where you are on the project. Like I said, it's been a long time since I worked on this. Let's reconnect that. There we go. That'll do. It's good enough for testing anyway. So we've got our live and our neutral reconnected up to the mains transformer. That's our little audio output transformer up there. That is what I'm not sure about what that wire's doing. I wonder. Let's have a look. It appears to. It's obviously an extra tapping on the mains transformer, so I don't know what voltage that gives out. We'll have to have a look at that at a later date and see what we're actually getting out from there. What I think I'll do, I'll leave it this way round. And I'm going to plug it in. So I think we're going to be safe to plug this thing in, and we'll at least see if we can get the amplifier section firing up, and then we're going to have a look at that radio section there and see if we can get that to do anything. The problem with that is I don't even know, I can't even remember what voltage it runs on. I seem to remember, and right in the back of my head, that I used to have a D-cell in here, somewhere around here. And that's what actually powered the radio circuit. It was just one big D-cell, and the current consumption was so low on it, I don't even think I bothered putting a switch on it. You know, it'd run for months and months and months and months, because all it's doing is powering that one tiny little IC. That's what I seem to remember anyway. Like I say, don't quote me on it because it's been a very long time. And I only found this a couple of hours ago, so I've not really had time to do much research yet. I just thought I'd be curious to see whether it will actually do anything still. Right, so we're at a position now. I'll keep that where I can at least just... Now I think they're fairly well isolated. I'll just double check underneath. Yeah, there's no fear of them touching the live connections on the back of the switch, so we're going to be alright with that. That is isolated by a... basically that wire there goes to the... Can you see that? I don't know. That wire there that I'm pointing at goes to the output valve. I think that's off the grid on the output valve, so that should be our signal input. Anyway, we'll switch on, and we'll switch the. Am I going to be brave and touch? Yeah, the chassis is earthed. We should be absolutely fine. I'll switch on the actual power. And we've got, I don't know if you can see that, but the valve is glowing. And it's very... Well, it seems to work, it's just very hummy. There's a lot of hum there. I wonder if the smoothing caps have gone, or have we just got a bit of a ground loop or something. I wonder if I was to actually connect that to an audio source, what we would get. We could try that, I suppose. That shouldn't be too hard to lash up, should it? Just bear with me a sec. In fact, I'll just put you on pause and I'll come back as soon as I've rigged up some form of audio source so we can play something through it. Back in a sec. Okay, seeing as I seem to have failed to find any of my MP3 players at the moment, what I've done, I've just took a phono socket out of my out of one of my boxes. I've just tacked that onto, basically it had some wires already soldered onto it. It's one that I use for when I'm breadboarding and stuff. And I've just twisted the wires onto them wires coming out of the amplifier. And I've got a phono to 3.5 jack lead here, so I'm going to connect that up to there. That should just plug in, no problem. Except for it won't for some reason. Why won't you go in there? Go on, get in that hole. That's a tight one. Why is that so tight? Okay, so that's not going to work. What else have we got? Well, how can we do this now? How can we do this? I suppose what we could do... why is it when you plan to do something like this and you're as disorganised as me, you start forgetting everything? Right, how can we do this now? We need to connect that to that. And I was planning on using that, but like I said, it's not... Must be a defective one, it must be a faulty one. We've got a non-faulty one about. That plugs in there alright. Wonder why that one doesn't. So we'll just swap the wires over between that one and we'll be hunky-dory. There we go. Bit of solder on there. We're just tacking this on, so it doesn't have to be too neat. Bit of solder on there. Add a little bit more to there, like that. So, tack that wire on there. tack that wire on there. Go on, there we go. Okay, that should work. Right. And then what we'll do, I've got a little one of my radios out of the lot that I just put batteries in, and there's nothing wrong with it. Well, actually there was. I can't believe it's, well, yeah, I can believe it being sent back. Like, basically one side of the strap there was detached, and I just clipped it back on. That was all that was wrong with this one. But so we've got a little FM radio playing Radio 4. So I'm going to connect that up.
Russian head of investment who was speaking made a very big point about how Russia is.
There we go. So that's we've got Radio 4 playing on that radio, and the headphone output of that is going into this amplifier. So hopefully we should see whether it can amplify okay and what it sounds like. So we'll try powering the amp back up.
The Crown Prince himself showed up, not for very long, huge entourage,
actually, that
big
sounds
scrum
pretty good.
as people surrounded him, selfies were taken, and then he was gone.
Business as usual then, and
The volume
officially
control
no
doesn't seem
mention
to...
of this scandal, but do you think beyond...
I'll have to literally turn it down using the radio, the volume on the radio. The volume on here doesn't seem to be doing anything.
At least weighing up their position, their relationship with Saudi Arabia?
I think that some of the big companies,
But you can hear that the amplifier itself doesn't sound too bad.
Very much are. What's interesting,
and if we drive the valve reasonably hard,
of investment and these billions of dollars,
certainly goes
Saudi
loud
hasn't
enough.
been doing very well in foreign investment this year. It's fallen, and a Saudi journalist was telling me, though saying that he can't publish.
So yeah, the actual, and now we've actually got it connected to something. Obviously, that hum that we had, that horrible buzz that we had when it was open's gone. You can hear very tiny little bit of hum. Remember, this thing's only halfway rectified. But the amplifier section itself, yeah, it does seem to still work okay. It works very well, actually. What I think we'll do, we're going to leave it, this as a part 1. And I think in part 2 we'll have a look at the AM radio section that's on here. I'll have to get the pin out for that MK484 radio IC and actually figure out what voltage it needs. It must just be a volt, like 1.5 volts or something like that, though, because I distinctly remember this thing used to have a D-cell battery holder in the middle here somewhere that actually powered that circuit. And my plan always was to work on it more and, like I said, put a single transistor preamplification stage in there and power it all off the same transformer. So basically pinch some of the low tension of the heater winding, rectify it, smooth it down and use it to power the radio circuit and the transistor little preamplifier circuit. But I never got that far. So I mean, that's what I really want to do with this. I want to get long wave, well, see if we can get the radio working, that section of it. Then possibly look at getting long wave actually working on there, because I never bothered connecting up long wave. I only ever got a medium wave connected up, and we've got the coil for it here. We just need to wire it up, and we've got the switch on the front to be able to select between them, so that's fine. The tuning condenser should be absolutely fine for the job, because it was an AM long wave medium wave radio to start with. Then we'll, like I said, once we've got that working, we'll have a look at a 1 transistor little preamp stage, just to give it that little bit of a boost so it can drive the speaker as well as that little FM radio we've just tried there can do. And then I'll probably put it into use actually, just in my workshop, you know, in my office every now and again, because I like a radio in there playing, and it would be cool to actually have this up and running. And it would be quite unique, being that it would be a 1 chip, 1 transistor, 1 valve hybrid radio. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed this little valvey project rather than some of the other modern electronics and vintage computing stuff that we've been doing of late. So hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching and goodbye.